your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by Houston Housewives of Finance. For more information on increasing your cash flow, becoming your own money manager, and to schedule your complimentary personal finance strategy, contact the Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463. Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, Dr. Ashandra Batiste understands that one of the biggest obstacles is dental fear. The vision at Elite Dental Wellness is to ensure every patient is treated with respect, ultimate care, patience, and love. Call us today to make an appointment at area code 713-789-8680. Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Society Now, a show that endeavors to bring you riveting content that is sure to invoke, incite, and inspire. I'm your host, Kira Laws, and you can follow me on Instagram at The Modern Day Cindy. And this is my handsome co-host.
Hey, what's going on? And you are excused. You're always excused, baby. My name is Kaylin Laws, a.k.a. Senor Wapo. Make sure you follow me on all social media outlets at Senor Wapo 713. That's SENORGUAP 713. Holla at your man. I'm excited to be in the studio with this amazing co-host of mine. Y'all, look, I am ready for a phenomenal show.
We're ready for a phenomenal show because we're not going to be talking about fake news. We know we have to go through this because every time I look up, people are talking about fake news, news media, alternative facts. Everyone's trying to figure out what's truth these days. And so here on Society Now, we try to bring the truth the best way we know how, which is giving you the content and not the fluff.
The truth, the whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
So help us, God. Come on, somebody.
Help us. Okay. I mean, it's a lot going on today.
It is, man.
It's a lot going on in the news. I mean, we can't start the show off without just talking about the amazing weekend we had. We all were blessed this weekend to be attendees at Coachella. We did go. We did. We didn't have to pay for it. Shout out to you too. Listen. We didn't have to pay for it.
Shout out to Coachella for streaming it for those of us who wasn't finna pay the $400-$500 plus a plane ticket to fly out there.
Because we stayed up to watch that thing.
You understand? 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
But I was like, you gonna watch it with me? And I'm glad he got up to watch it with me.
Because I really didn't want to at first. I was sleepy.
But wasn't that like the homecoming?
It was worth it.
Listen, I felt like I went to a HBCU. First of all, let's be clear about this.
You went to two of them.
I went to two. I went to Wiley College, home of the great debaters. Hey, shout out. And I went to Thurgood Marshall School of Law at the Texas Southern University for my law degree. And so, watching that from the beginning, I was like, okay, what's about to happen? Beyonce really did put a lot of thought into it. And I understand what she said toward the end when she was like, when she wasn't able to come last year, she had a lot of time being pregnant to think about and dream about what she wanted this to be. And especially in the height of so much change that's going on in society, when we talk about, some of the, I'm going to say, anti-Black sentiment that's been going on lately, like, as if us sharing our Blackness or sharing, our, the things that we're proud of, verbalizing it is one thing.
Exactly.
People, when we verbalize it, it really tends to get under people's skin, I'm thinking. But when we start actually just exhibiting it, they catch on. Hence, see boxer braids, or we call them cornrows. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very interesting sentiment to be a part of a society, where we are on one hand applauded for all things we're unique about, because we have contributed so much to society in terms of being so different. We add a lot of flavor to society. And on the other end, there is an area where people are very standoffish because we are so different, because we look so different. We have different experiences. We come from a different historical background. Just like most minorities in the United States, right? We just historically we're just different.
We are.
We're not necessarily an anomaly. We're just different. But Beyonce came and did her thing. What did you think about the show?
I tell you what I appreciated the most was how she was unapologetically black. She's never not been.
Yeah.
And I know that's horrible English, but I said it that way for effect. She has always repped the culture, repped blackness. She has been more free in recent years, past 5 years or so.
Yeah.
In her art, in her how she presents her songs and her messaging. But for me, it was everything about it was a nod to blackness, a nod to our community, a big up to everything that we're about. It even sparked debate, interestingly enough, from some of my former students on what HBCU she was repping. At the end of the day, who really cares?
Who
right?
really cares?
But people just have pride for their school, so I get it. It was fun. It was fun to watch, but. From the Black College Band to the Negro National Anthem, right?
Which is
Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Absolutely. Okay, I mean we have to because some people do not know that the actual name is not the Negro National Anthem. It's actually Lift Every Voice and Sing. Please know that for yourself.
But I think it's wonderful that we actually have coined that the name of it.
No, absolutely. I just want people to know.
We need one. And so from that regard as well. The Negro National Anthem, and Lift Every Voice and Sing, to Malcolm X being played, to excerpts of Dr. Maya Angelou being play there was so much blackness, even our style of dance mixing in traditional African dances with traditional b-boying. That's a nod to our community, as well as her phenomenal music. I enjoyed literally every second of it, and just seeing her hive grow even more. It was funny that I saw a meme, Kira, that said, "Thank you, Beyonce, for charging white people to see you and letting us see you and letting black people see you for free
via the internet."
Via the internet. So again, that's funny. It's satirical. Because obviously the crowd was super, super mixed. The crowd was rocking. It was jamming.
The crowd was definitely rocking. Man. I just wanted to start the show off talking about that because it was definitely something that. It was unexpected. First of all, no one could have expected that from her. We've seen her pull out a lot of things. We've seen doves. We've seen, her version of Cirque du Soleil, her way, in her concerts. But we've never seen anything like that. And for someone, again, she might have been removed from the experiences because she had experienced stardom at a very young age. I think it was great that she made it a point to say, hey, I'm with y'all on this, right. And I think it was important because it was exposure, because she has a platform that a lot of artists don't necessarily have. Her platform being just knowing I can use my platform to educate as well, especially in a time where HBCUs have been under fire.
Underfunded, underattended, all of it.
I mean, a lot of students are really kind of scared to go to HBCU because they're scared in days ahead, will my degree even be worth anything, or does my school want to lose accreditation because they don't have the right funding to get the right finance to get the right professors, to get the right technology. It's just a lot with that. And so I think that she's doing a lot. And through this, after Coachella, she actually announced that she's going to start doing Homecoming Scholars Awards for 4 HBCUs. The first 4, I think, are, Xavier, Wilberforce, Tuskegee, and Bethune-Cookman.
And so it's interesting about those because those, I'm not sure about Xavier, but the other 3 have been experiencing extremely low registrations.
Yeah,
and so they've experienced some significant challenges. This is a great segue and lead into what's happening into happening to black schools across the country, right? We typically talk about Howard, Morehouse, Spelman, Prairie View A&M, Grambling, some of the larger North Carolina A&T, right? We rarely talk about a Bethune-Cookman or Wilberforce or even a Tuskegee is historically
that was
sound.
Going to be. I was going to go to Tuskegee, but I had some issues. Right,
but as historically sound as that institution is, we don't talk about it. So I think it's just dope that Beyonce is focusing on schools that are having some significant issues that could potentially close doors, right?
Yeah.
And so, and not just giving it to the larger schools who everybody knows about.
Yeah, and I think it is important. I think a lot of people, it just opened the door for people to start. researching the rich history of HBCUs, and not just because as African Americans, you kind of know about most of them. But I think on a world stage that introduced what is this HBCU, because some people don't even know what the acronym means. And for them to just research and figure out what's the history, you see even some of the fun memes, like, some kids are going to go back home like, I'm changing my major to African American studies, whatever it is. I know it's just interesting to see how she used her platform to just show there's a lot to this experience of her blackness, and it's not just her being the first black anything, although she made it a point to say that, hey, thank you, Coachella, for having me. I'm the first African American woman here, and then she let off with, ain't that about to be, but like, I love it.
Shouldn't have been, son.
Well, I love him. He's he's about to go there, but I love the fact that she made it a point to say, I'm the first, not to say they never had women, they just never had a black one. But that just goes to show you how far we've come. It's as a world, you know what I mean? Just how far we've come. I want to just give credit to, we're learning how to embrace all different cultures and diversity. So I'm glad she was able to be the first black woman to do this, because she is definitely the embodiment of not just an entertainer, but a very, I guess, I don't know what the word is, but she very much can handle what comes at her when it comes from a multiplicity of different areas, not just her as a musician. She's very much a woke person.
She's a woke person. Absolutely. She's a woke person. And so shout out to Beyonce for being a woke person.
And she's using her money the right way.
Yeah, using her money the right way and to influence so many different changes. The whole family, from bailing people out for the Black Lives Matter marches to now these new scholarships and everything else that they've been doing. They've been putting bail money on books for activists for better part of 3 or 4 years now, and so they're using their money in a phenomenal way, and we need everyone that's listening and watching to use their money in a better way as well. As such, this portion of the show is sponsored by, you guessed it, Houston Housewives of Finance. Did you know that only 4 states in the U.S. offer financial education? 33%, or more than 77 million Americans, sheesh, that's a lot, don't pay their bills on time, and 39% of Americans carry credit card debt from month to month. Visa and MasterCard getting you, boy. And 39% of adults say they don't have enough savings. Please don't become one of these statistics. Let Houston Housewives of Finance advise you on increasing your cash flow and becoming your own money manager by scheduling your complimentary personal financial strategy. Contact Houston Housewives of Finance today get your pen out, 1-844-700-4463, or email us at info@houstonhousewivesoffinance.com. Ask how you can participate in a complimentary financial literacy workshop near you. Houston Housewives of Finance are the new faces of the new age of financial services. Give them a call or email them to get your coin right.
Get your coin right. I mean, that's what it really is about. Although it really saddens me, because that 77% of persons can't pay their bills on time, but that goes to being underemployed. Yeah. Everyone is not unemployed. Some people are just underemployed.
Quite a few people
are, because they're, their areas of expertise might not be the area that they're able to work, and have a healthy, gainful employment. So that's interesting as well. So definitely call them. They're very much helpful. Now let's talk about something that's a change. Now, and especially in the last 10, 15 years, we've had, especially in the U.S., a major focus on healthy eating, healthy living. Definitely, everyone wanted to go, I would say, green. We've had, with this introduction of Whole Foods popping up in all types of neighborhoods, a lot of people started going back to the farmers markets to get their produce. Now, frozen food, there's a frozen food wave that's happening. And this frozen food wave is a resurgence of frozen food that, we've always known frozen food to be there. We have canned goods and frozen food. I personally would probably go to the frozen food before I would go to a canned good, but you do what you have to do, right? But now
That's you bougie.
It's not that I'm bougie, but I realize it's probably less sodium type or less preservatives in the frozen food than there is in a canned good. But so the frozen food wave is something that's really coming back,
Yeah.
where a lot of manufacturers have figured out that, hey, people have to want to eat healthy on the go. And how we can actually market ourselves or position ourselves for market visibility is to make sure we say that these products we have here they're just not convenient, but they're also things that you need to eat. These are the things that you want to eat, the fruits, the vegetables, and we're making sure that they are healthy for you. You get to save time, and you get to save energy by, not having to prepare it.
Right.
And I think that's going to appeal to a lot of people. What do you think about that? Because
I love it. But trying to figure out a healthy way via like TV dinners, so to speak, concerns me.
So they're not doing TV dinners. So this is the great thing. So they're not going to do TV dinners. They're going to really focus on more vegetables and a few proteins, but I don't think they're going to be marketing the TV dinners because I think they know that people are, because we have people that eat the lean cuisines and the TV and
so then how are they? I guess I'm curious how are they going to repackage it, because essentially as wonderful as Marie Callender's marketing in pieces, you know what I'm saying, it's a TV dinner.
But no, it's not a TV dinner. So if you look at some of the visuals they had like the packaged strawberries, but they're frozen, but they're in that same container that you would buy it in if they were out in the produce aisle. Okay. I think that's what they're kind of going for, like something that's really like, okay, we're gonna really market this for people who really want the same thing without having to do the work to get it or know that it can stay fresh. Yeah. I think the thing is stay fresh, probably not as expensive. Because it's not fresh, right?
Right.
And they don't have to worry about, because I think we pay a lot more for the fresh produce that's out, because if it's not purchased, they have to throw it out, right? And really showing like, hey, this is not just, it's gonna have a clean label. It's gonna be marked organic or non-GMO. They're gonna try to focus on saying stuff like, we're putting the quality back into frozen food. We're gonna make sure that you all know that this food is for your health. Like, they're really going to try to position themselves. But I think it's really cool because for me, I've always, not always, but for the past 20 years or so, I've been really focused on having a healthy diet. And I think it's really exciting to see them take this change or this turn in how we market the food, because I like eating vegetables and fruits and things like that. But I don't always like having to throw away the food that I purchased because it's went bad because I haven't been able to eat it when I wanted to eat it. Right. So I think it's going to actually be a good thing. What do you think?
Any kind of movement towards fresh produce or fresher food is always a good thing. So I'm excited about it. I'm just interested to see about the packaging and all of that, because I just don't.
You don't trust it?
It's hard.
I
don't want to keep calling it a TV dinner, but that's the when reading the article, that's what you image that I had in my head, and so I could be completely off base.
And for me, I didn't even think when you said frozen food wave. Immediately, I thought they're going to try to find a way to introduce stuff that is healthy without it looking so prepackaged. You know what I mean? Like, I think. For me, if you're going to introduce something that's really healthy, in my mind, I'm thinking more vegetables. I'm thinking more fruits. I'm thinking more, lean meats. They might have a lean meat, but it might be packaged a little differently. A lean meat vegetable combo, but it won't definitely be the Marie Callender. Well, definitely won't be any product that could possibly have, like, I can't see it being an excess of gravy and things like that. Like things that the traditional, when they first started doing, TV dinners and introducing the microwave, because the microwave has not been around forever. Everybody, just so we know, just everyone knows, microwave has not been around forever. It is a fairly new invention. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do, but I'm thinking it's going to be more so for those who are more food conscious.
Yeah.
And health conscious.
And maybe you're a business and you're conscious of the types of things in the audience that you're trying to attract and get your product and or service in front of. Well, I have a solution for you.
What is the solution?
The solution is,
what is it?
That this portion of the show is sponsored. No, it's not. I messed it up. It's okay. But another solution. Just completely befuddled that. This
is about an FB shout out, y'all.
Hey, y'all. Shout out to Facebook, our Facebook Live family. We appreciate you, and ask that you subscribe to our show on all the major forums, including iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher, and review our show in iTunes with constructive feedback. You can go ahead and clown me for my
No,
fuddle up today.
no,
It's
I'm not
okay.
going to clown you. It
Share this
happens.
Facebook Live post and the entire show with your family and friends, and donate to our mission to bring enriched and inspiring content each and every week. You can donate at www.thesphere.tv/donate. We'll see you guys next time.
You definitely need to donate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I gotta
important.
get it right. I messed it up. My bad.
It's not that you just messed it up. It just things happen. You know what I mean? Like it happens to the best of us, including you. You're part of the best of us.
Well, you better edify me. I love it now. All right.
You're the part of the best of us.
All
Now,
right.
let's talk about this crazy coffee. Now, when I'm talking about crazy coffee, now I think that I probably can speak to the majority of urban persons, and say that most of us have bought into this coffee culture. Coffee culture has not been around always, y'all. This coffee culture has been around, I'm gonna say, for the past 20 years or so, 15, 20 years. Coffee culture has really boomed, and it's part of who you, it's like almost part of like your style. Like if you have a coffee drink, if you have a cup of Starbucks, or you have a cup of whatever you choose. Some people Seattle's best, some people are doing other things, but this coffee culture is real for a lot of people. And it's interesting because now we call it crazy coffee, because last week 2 black men were arrested in Philadelphia for sitting in a Starbucks, like most people do, having a conversation, and was told to leave because they were told that they needed to purchase something before they could sit there. And they told the barista that they were waiting on their friend before they made their order, and the barista proceeded to call the police. Now, I don't think that was the best way to handle that. I felt like that was a little bit extreme, considering that we are living in a time where it's no secret that black men have been, unfortunately, proven guilty before innocent. And some of the times that the police do come on the scene, it's definitely not a pleasant experience for the black men that have been accosted, arrested, or whatever. And so there was a lot of conversation. You even see a video for a white man defending the black guys. Like, I don't understand why you're arresting them. What did they do? They didn't do anything wrong. There's protests that are going on inside the city center at this particular Starbucks location. They were like, this is not right. People are really upset about it. There's a lot of people who are very disturbed by how the manager there treated them. So the Starbucks CEO came out and he issued an apology. And he's saying that they're going to, I guess, look into it.
They're going to investigate.
But it's like, that's not what people want to hear right now, because I'm almost certain that these guys were probably fearful for their life.
Right.
Because they were just sitting in a Starbucks like most people do. Most people do. So what do you think about that?
It's interesting because I'm confident in saying that I've been in at least 100 Starbucks.
Yeah, you probably have. In multiple cities.
Multiple cities all over this country, actually. I just love coffee. And obviously Starbucks is the most convenient way to do it. And so, but I haven't always purchased coffee. At least not immediately, right? I haven't. Listen, these gentlemen were dressed. They were chilling in some sweats and a t-shirt. One of them had a beard. I'm bearded myself, and so it could have been me easily, man. I've gone in there to charge my phone for 15 minutes. I've run in to send a couple of quick emails and not ordered anything and come back out because I needed the Wi-Fi or something of that nature. And it's never happened to me. I'm 6'4", 230 pounds.
I thank God it's never happened to you.
You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is I fit the bill of a threatening black man, black bearded, 6'4", 220, 230 pounds. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, what makes you so different?
What makes you so by that logic, and this is my line of thinking, it definitely was a personal bias based upon on the manager or whomever, the barista, whomever it was that made the phone call to the police. Secondarily, I know that the police have a duty, because it is private property, to remove persons from the
establishment.
But I don't think they like. You can have some compassion and you can get the fact of the story, especially when you have when you have onlookers saying, "Yo, they didn't do anything," and just say, "Listen, you guys just go ahead and leave."
Yeah, I think the arrest was a bit much.
Like you don't have to arrest them. You don't have to put them in cuffs. Now they have their prints in the system. You know,
all creating a bad situation.
I agree. Like it doesn't. You just don't have. Like there's some discretion that I think law enforcement has to exercise consistently. It happens, and unfortunately, when it does happen, we get upset that it happened to one group and not another. When actually they did their job by having discretion. Not these folks in Philadelphia. These officers in Philadelphia. So I think it's a problematic situation altogether.
And especially like right now, we know Philly is definitely a focal point of a lot of racial tension, a lot of, uncertainty about how African American men stand in the face of society there. I know we have heard time and time again, justice for Meek Mill. And that's something, free Meek Mill, and just recently, the mayor of Philadelphia, he went to visit Meek Mill in prison, and last week he said that he needed to go see him. He wanted to just talk to him, and his thoughts is that he would probably do better off outside of prison. He felt like having him in prison and having this questionable situation where he is being in jail for a supposed violation of his probation for 2 to 4 years, it might be a little bit extreme, but this is a restraint of law, because as the mayor, he really doesn't have any power to do anything. He left that to the justice system. I hope that, though, my thought is that him visiting Meek Mill shows a level of compassion that can translate into the justice system. Because, a mayor coming to visit you in jail who is not necessarily someone that you spoke to regularly, that's big. That's real big. I mean, your thoughts about that?
I mean, it's beyond big. It's gargantuan. It's magnanimous, right? It's huge. Because you have someone who understands. I'm not sure the educational background of the mayor of Philadelphia, but you cannot ascend to the heights of city government in an international and large city without knowing, the law, right? And so, and understanding the position that someone like a Meek Mill is in, I think that it speaks volumes to the inherent bias by which he was convicted. Or not necessarily convicted, but he was, I don't even know what the right term is because I'm not an attorney, but when he was his violation, his violation, the punitive damages or awards or whatever, because of his probation violation. So I think that it's interesting, man. It's really, really interesting that the mayor said, listen, this guy will do way more good, and the community will be advanced even further by him being out.
And I think it's even a testament to, because how the mayor actually got wind of going to visit him was through the co-owner of the 76ers. When the co-owner of the 76ers reached out to Michael Rubin, and he said, hey, to the Mayor Kenney, he was like, hey, I think you should visit him. Then, after he visited him, that's when the mayor came out and said, I think this just gives me even more clarity that it's clear and convincing evidence that we need to reform the criminal justice system, because this is not how you deal with people who are on a trajectory of improving their lives. You don't throw them back in jail for another 2 to 4 years if it's a minor violation. Like it's nothing that it was something that could have
travel violation.
And what made it even worse is that it was a judge that made the decision, although the prosecutors wanted him to have a more lenient sentencing or lenient corrective measure, and that didn't happen. And so it's just interesting to see how this story is really unfolding, because there's a lot of people, I tell people all the time, I said the justice system is really interesting because you have to understand there really is a separation of power, and it's only so many people can do. You want to have someone who is compassionate, or you want to have a compassionate judge or a compassionate jury. And And unfortunately, that even their hands are kind of tied, because how would you ever really know what's honest, or when the wool is being pulled over your eyes? So I definitely understand that there's a lot to that. You want to make sure that you are operating fairly and impartially. But as a leader of a city, I think it was great. Shout out to Mayor Kenney, Jim Kenney in Philadelphia. Shout out to the co-owner of the 76ers, Michael Rubin, for making the call to just show that there is some hope for some reform, hopefully, just by having key leaders in a city go and visit and speak with him. I think that's powerful. So I want to clap him.
One clap.
One clap.
One time.
Now, we like things to look good,
right?
And we like things to work properly. And so for that reason, this portion of the show is sponsored by Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, our vision is to create a welcoming practice that will offer exceptional dental care and a lifetime of dental wellness. We're committed to the finest possible oral care and the overall health and well-being of our patients. Elite Dental Wellness is built on a foundation of integrity, expertise, and service. Through our commitment to modern dentistry, continuing education, and a friendly atmosphere, we strive to make our patients feel that they are part of our family. Dentistry can be scary, daunting, and uncomfortable. Dr. Batiste and her team work tirelessly to ensure your comfort. Make your appointment today with Dr. Chandra Batiste at Elite Dental Wellness by calling 713-789-8680. Again, the number is 713-789-8680. Elite Dental Wellness.
Bling.
Really?
Get these.
Really?
The pearly whites.
Now, what if your teeth weren't white though?
Listen,
what if you did that?
I had like a big piece of something in my teeth.
Like broccoli.
I would blame you because you wouldn't have told me.
But what if it was like a situation where it wasn't there like a minute ago?
So it's just go supernaturally.
No, not even supernatural. No, it's weird because things that get caught in your teeth. Like it might have been you've been talking, stuff swish around in your mouth and it has floated to the front.
Yeah, it's nasty.
It is nasty, but it happens a lot to people.
Yeah, you know what? And you know what I can't stand? And this is random. And then we'll get back to the show. I can't stand when people don't tell you when there's something in your teeth.
Tell me.
Like I can't
Don't
see
let
it.
me-
I can't pull my eyeball out and look at my tooth. You know what I'm saying? Just brother.
Hey, you need to go
or
to
like,
the bathroom.
or
real
nobody
quickly.
told a lady that that she had lipstick on her teeth or something. You know what I'm saying?
Like, why would you let her go around stained all day?
Yeah, just say something. It's all good.
Just say
But what else
something.
can we say about what's going on today?
Okay,
in
let's talk
society now?
Well, let's talk about it. So there's a lot of other things going on. So, my goodness, we are okay. So Seattle Seahawks this weekend. Okay, so at the end of last week or this weekend or something like that, Colin Kaepernick was invited out to do a tryout of sorts with the Seattle Seahawks. Before he got there, he was asked a question about would he continue to kneel during the national anthem, and he didn't pretty much give the answer that they were looking for. He did not give an answer, and because of that, his opportunity to try out or to speak with them was canceled. That really bothered me on a deep level, because I was like, I feel like for anyone else in the world, we would be talking about how that's abridging their amendment rights. For him, not so much, because he's Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
I watched SportsCenter this morning, and the
did.
I did, and the
Thank you.
conversation that really bothered me. I'm not gonna call names, but the conversation that I saw this morning really pissed me off, because I felt like, over the weekend, Colin made a point to post on Instagram about his thoughts and feelings as it related to he's not the only one that did not stand for the national anthem. He's in great company because you think about Jackie Robinson didn't stand at one point. He talked about him and his him being a black man and how this United States has treated him, and I think it was important that was made clear. And this morning on SportsCenter, they were like, there was a conversation where they tried to say that he was trying to put himself in the same I guess, category as a Jackie Robinson. And I was like, no, that's not what's happening. What he's saying is saying that he's not the first person to make this stance. And just like Jackie Robinson and just like an MLK and just like these other persons who have made a stance for something, at the time they made these stances, they were definitely ridiculed and they definitely was ostracized. And it wasn't until they were long gone that their contributions to society was ever really recognized as being worth something. So, you know, shout out to Colin Kaepernick for not bending, because that's what I think people thought he was going to do.
Right.
Well, as soon as somebody give him an offer, he'll bend. He'll say he's not going to do it because he wants a check. This man doesn't want the check. He wants y'all to let him live his life. And I think he would be better off if someone said and recognized, hey, he, you know what, him kneeling is not affecting our franchise, so let him kneel.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? I mean, that's my opinion, and I'm not a big football fan.
And I'm of a similar opinion.
Yeah.
You know, regarding the journalists that were speaking this morning. They're paid to be a bit controversial, and sometimes leaning on the divisive side. Not necessarily the divisive. That's strong. Let me retract that. But just controversial. But people, when people hear when they toss out great names, iconic names like a Jackie Robinson or something of that nature, people just they get up in arms and they don't listen. And so I never took that statement of Colin Kaepernick to say that, for him to say that he was just like a Jackie Robinson. No, he's saying that he was operating in the vein of Jackie Robinson.
Like I say, he's in good company.
He's in good company because he stood up for social justice issues in his athletic platform by being one of the top persons in the league. So the fact that Seattle has, for all intents and purposes, reneged is disheartening. Certainly disheartening. But again, I got a one clap Colin for continuing to
he didn't bend.
to bend and to stay on his
He
qualms,
didn't bend.
man. You know what I'm saying?
That's a mark of a man with great character. And I think
Absolutely.
if nothing else, that should be recognized throughout the league. It's not about your organization. It's not about your franchise. You want people that's on your team
To be committed, man.
to be committed to whatever they're passionate about, and he's passionate about this. And I think it's sad that, again, back to my original statement at the beginning, even of the show, there's a lot of times where when we make our feelings about who we are as African Americans, when we're vocal about it, it's offensive. We, and in this situation, he's not vocal about it.
But he's demonstrative.
But it's non-violent, but it's still offensive because they want you to conform. And so at what point does conformity allow you to be an individual? That is likened to a form, I guess, of bondage to me, because you want me to be one place, one way, because I work for your organization.
Right.
And I think that that's something we have to, as a country, really deal with. Like, let people be passionate about, especially their personal beliefs, because we don't really, we don't punish people for their religious beliefs, right? You believe what you believe. We definitely don't want you trying to convert anybody in the office. But if you want to kneel and pray, and we created a place for you to do that, then let people have their place to do that. So it's just definitely an interesting situation going on. Definitely an interesting situation going on.
There's a lot of interesting situations going around this world, and even in this studio today.
In this studio, we're definitely having a lot going on. Well, I want to say right now that I'm really excited because we couldn't do any of this.
We really are.
If it wasn't for the Sphere Podcast Network and the Sphere. So this portion of our show is sponsored by the Sphere. Hey now, are you starting your business and looking for a place to advertise? Do you have a need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at the Sphere. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, a lot of stuff, you guys, on and on. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach around the globe and within the United States, as well as modern countries around the globe. Our enriched content and inspiring dialogue, coupled with your strategic ad, is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789. Or send an email over to advertise@thesphere.tv. Again, the number is 832-772-7789. Or send an email over to advertise@thesphere.tv. Hey,
Sphere.
Now, this is going to be my last. I think we should just kind of end on this note.
Okay, let's do it.
Well, we should end on a good note or a controversial note?
A good controversial note.
A good controversial.
I love a good controversy.
Okay. So, ooh.
Come on, let's get it.
I got a lot. Okay, so ABC has recently hired a black woman to run a network.
They have.
And
shout out.
Black
in
a couple of weeks, Black Girl Magic. And a couple of weeks ago, we talked about how pretty much Blackish and Grownish and the producers of the show, they really have been very vocal about different things, different conversational pieces,
right? Social justice,
a lot of things that they've been talking about. They've been the conversation is never nonstop. It's always really good. They talk about things that are very black oriented, or things that have to do with being black in America,
right,
or things that have to do with how people interpret blackness to be. I mean, it's a Blackish is the show,
right?
Well, we talked about recently, I think we discussed how there was a particular episode that he wanted to air about the son talking about the kneeling at the football game, and what did that mean? Well, ABC execs step in and was like, well, we really don't want to air, or we're going to say they had the issue was a difference of how they should air it.
Right.
That was the issue.
That's how they coined it.
That's how they coined it in reports. And Kenya Barris, who is actually the producer, director, writer of Blackish,
right,
he was like, well, since there was a creative difference on it, we're just not going to air the show. Well, I'm not going to say in response to that, but recently they brought Roseanne back on, and Roseanne had a controversial show that seemed like it was taking shots at Blackish in its content. Now they're hoping that of course, here it is, y'all. How they're hoping that the black woman who is now over ABC can smooth everything over so everyone can just get along, and so that there is an audience for Blackish and an audience for Roseanne. Because Roseanne's audience is not going to be the Blackish audience, right? Her audience is very much
different.
They're different. The Blackish audience, I think, appeals to a lot more people, a lot more diverse people, because they're looking at not just black people watching it, but they're people that want to know about the Blackish experience.
Right.
I think because we know what Roseanne is about, not too many people are going back, especially us. I mean, we saw it when we were younger, but I don't think we're going back to the Roseanne Barr show.
No.
So I think it's interesting how, again, this article is talking about how they're really trying to figure out a way that she comes in with her cape on, because she is Black Girl Magic, and she comes in and fixes it so that everyone can get along, so they can keep Blackish because it's a high rated show, but also have Roseanne have its run because it's in its, I guess, its resurrection season. There was also talk recently how that Blackish may be taking this content to Netflix.
The whole thing is troublesome to me, especially when you look at who Roseanne is, right? Excuse me. Roseanne Barr. I'm talking about the real Roseanne.
Right.
Roseanne Barr is a Trump supporter.
Yes.
Roseanne Barr is
she wants to make America great again.
Yeah, Roseanne Barr is someone who teeters on the far right, the extremism of the far right. Roseanne Barr, who is instrumental in the content creation, at least on the first run. I'm not sure about now, but she was instrumental on the first run of the show, in the creation of the content of the show. And so you have to, I think, bringing the show back, I think, was wise for her audience, and it was. I'm not gonna say wise. I think the show in and of itself. I think it was a response to how much minority love is on television right now. That was my interpretation of it. How much minority love, whether it's black, brown, yellow, whatever, right, red, whatever you want to call minorities, and so having such a whitewashed, down home, so to speak, in your face show is something that's
missing.
Again, is missing right now.
It's missing.
It is, and so it's a subtle response. And what's interesting to me is how Disney allowed this to happen, because Disney owns ABC.
But Disney is interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
Because they know that they have to make sure that it's a comment or a quote that said that if, as a marketer or as an advertiser, if you're aiming your if you're aiming your content towards everyone, you don't know who your audience is. So they have to be very selective and make every show aim toward a specific audience.
I agree. I agree, but well, even when you think about it, now that I think about it, even when you think about how with Disney before Disney became the conglomerate that it is now, Disney wasn't inclusive. I mean, Disney was slightly inclusive in terms of minorities, right? We still haven't had a black Disney anything in terms of a cartoon.
Yeah, no.
You see what I'm saying? We've had Mulan and we've had Aladdin.
When they did have it, they didn't put a lot of dollars behind it.
What
Was the it was a princess. You see, nobody even remembers. It was a princess that was actually the voice was Beyonce.
I'm talking about what? When?
Yes, let me look it up.
I had never heard of that.
It was a Disney princess, and her voice was Beyonce.
Oh, well. But even still, the fact that I'm a Disney head and have never heard of it is still
they
interesting.
Put a lot of money behind it.
Yeah, obviously. And so, I think it's a polarizing issue. I just don't know about this, man. And then you asked about ABC going to Netflix. I mean, Blackish going to Netflix. I love it from a monetary standpoint and a creative freedom standpoint.
Oh, I take that back. She lost the role.
Okay, I love it from a creative standpoint and from a monetary standpoint because I think they would really get some good dollars, right? You know what I'm saying? You have the pay discrepancies between lead actors in Blackish and all of that, but we're still, as huge as Netflix is, it's still not prime time, right? You see what I'm saying? So you make more money, but less eyes potentially could see it. And so, at least on the front, at least at first. And so I don't know how I feel about it, but I do know that I absolutely believe that Roseanne and her team, the Roseanne Barr show team, however I'm supposed to coin it, we're taking shots.
It was taking shots. I mean,
it
wasn't just Blackish.
She's always done it.
It wasn't just Blackish. It was also a show called Fresh Off the Boat that there was.
For sure.
Yeah. So it's a lot of things with that. But again, I just wanted to make sure that we all know that, right now there is even controversy in terms of minority groups and things like that within television. I mean, it's always been there, but this is really it's very direct because the content of her show. So on that note,
what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask that you continue to support us here at Society Now. We thank you so much for tuning into this wonderful episode. I'm just excited about what's coming next, and I'm excited about my co-host, the original host. And my name is Kaylin Laws. You can follow me at Senor Wapo 713 on all social media outlets, and go over, scroll down, and go to G's for Gentlemen and holler at me there as well.
You don't have to do that. You can just follow me on Instagram at the Modern Day Cindy. That's Cindy with the I, not a Y. And we can definitely connect there. I'm gonna be getting. Well, he's probably a little bit fancier on his social media than me, but we're
gonna make sure that you stay woke on it though.
But you have to definitely follow me on social media because it's a lot of great things going on. Yeah. Well, until next time,
we'll see you all
next week. See you next week.